Hello, Tana Meditation Center EUAN. Today's lesson's topic, how was I made? I was very curious about the beginning of everything. These days I wake up at dawn and play the piano. I have to warm up my hands to practice for about 10 minutes, but an hour passed by. I didn't know I would be so immersed in piano. As a teenager, I became so immersed in my studies. To be precise, I was immersed in a subject called physical science. At that time, I think my life first came to me. Before that, my family was the most important to me. My mother and the younger brother were the most precious to me. When you are immersed, you discover your true life. You find the happiest aspect and the direction you need to move forward. I feel that I am alive and various anxieties and fears from life disappear. And the work I was immersed in at that time serves as an opportunity to be recognized for its speciality by others. The two most important things in a person's life are the development of a true love for others and the opportunity to immerse themselves in something. However, the conflict between my family and science has been the reason for the difficulties of my 20s since then. Meditating means having the power to look at yourself objectively. You can track the beginning of all these things, especially because you are looking for your true source. It is said that when a baby is first born, he cannot distinguish between himself and this world. And gradually, as it is raised, the self emerges. At first, the self-helping self develops, but at puberty, the self that can live socially independently is created. The Buddha explained this as 12 links of independent co-arising. The process by which everything occurs is viewed as 12 links of independent co-arising. The beginning of 12 links independent co-arising is a false view. It refers to ignorance of the nature of the relationship. To talk about a baby again, a baby knows nothing and cannot distinguish between himself and others. However, as he learns how to control and use his body, he begins to distinguish that his body is himself. This distinction is what created existence. That's why the energy of the person raising the child has a great influence on this self. What starts from deficiency in the first place is the starting point for learning to live as a person. Starting from deficiency and starting with the help of someone is the beginning of the self. A child is born full of love but without the ability to live. After a very long time, the ability to use one's body properly develops, and one has no choice but to know one's body as oneself. And the child spends more than a decade feeling his first love for the person who raised him. The first love becomes an unrequited love. Adults do not regard children as equal to themselves because they view them as objects of upbringing. When this child reaches puberty, He expresses his hurt feelings here and prepares to live completely independent of his parents. When they become completely independent, they are psychologically distant from them. However, at that time, parents began to miss their child's love. But the child was already independent. However, because adults in our society hate this very much, the patriarchal system prevents the child's independence. In this way, you can formally tie your child to your parents. The parent-child relationship creates the most fundamental shape of the relationship. Love is learned there and wounds are received there. We are the product of the unconscious in the first place. All shapes of consciousness are made in reality. If you track the shape of reality, you can track your shape as well. The unconscious only stores all of this. These saved records become the screenplay of our lives. These shapes can be stored in the unconscious because we do not know Buddha nature. Not knowing this Buddha nature is called fundamental ignorance. They do not know that they are Buddhas but recognize themselves. This is called characteristics of self. Everyone has characteristics of self. In the world, each exists like a lonely island. If you abandon your characteristics of self, you feel like you are going to fall into the sea and die, because that was the safety net I live. But love is more important than survival in the world. Without love, even if it is alive, it may not be alive. People can die for love. Being able to die for love is faithful to your own heart. But losing love while gaining survival is the parenting process. Babies cannot distinguish themselves from others. Is it wisdom to distinguish yourself from others? You also practice many years to be unable to distinguish yourself from others. It is called ignorance when your mind cannot see your mind, just as your eyes cannot see your own. Buddha nature is the source of our existence and is full of love and mercy. And we must be born in this world and survive by navigating through this world full of others. But it's all like a fantasy. It's because it's happening inside my heart. All of these stories are my stories that I've made up. Because all of these beings are my delusions that started from obscurity. But my real heart aches here. It's really scary and disturbing and painful because the ocean and the waves are more than two. The waves can come from an illusion, but the sea is the real sea. I can write this story differently, so meditation becomes time travel. Until I become an adult, I have to go back and rewrite the story. I have to rewrite this story that my wounded ego created as a false adult until I come back to my own with the things I love and immerse myself in. This is Vipassana and this is Samatha. Thank you.